Now, hold up. What did JT just say? Is the rap game officially spiraling into a biohazard? Are we out here passing platinum plaques and STDs like party favors at Diddy's infamous pool parties? Because according to JT's recent explosive, not so subtle shade, somebody might have gotten more than just a Carisha, please shout out from Young Miami. They might have left with an incurable gift wrapped in silence. And y'all, it wasn't just any rapper. We're talking about DaBaby. Mr. Let's Go might need to sit all the way down because the TJT poured has fans choking harder than his last radio flop. How did we get from city, cores, twerking to courtroom transcripts and bioethical scandals? What started as a petty tweet has now turned into a full-blown epidemic of betrayal. With the internet spiraling into full CSI mode trying to connect the dots, is this just JT being messy? Or is she finally exposing a dangerous inner circle that's been passing more than verses? And why does Young Miami's name keep popping up in every industry scandal like she's the ringmaster of rap's toxic circus? Grab your hazmat suit, because this scandal's contagious, and baby, we're just getting started. So, boom, let's talk about how the internet exploded when JT hit the timeline like a heat-seeking missile aimed straight at Young Miami's lace front and whatever was left of DaBaby's reputation, because this wasn't just a sub or a shady tweet. Nah, this was a straight-up thermonuclear expose that left fans clutching their pearls and rappers deleting their stadies. And we are deleting their DMs. In panic, JT didn't just spill tea, she spilled blood, allegedly, according to the streets. And when we say the streets, we mean that one suspicious thread on Twitter that mysteriously vanished after going viral. JT implied that someone in the industry was playing dirty games with dirty results, and baby fans connected the dots like it was a crime scene on some hop CSI, because who else has had a wild string of suspicious hookups, ghost-like disappearances from the scene, and the kind of silence that smells like guilt? DaBaby and Young Miami. And when JT added that cryptic line about how some girls out here passing more than lyrics, the entire industry held its breath, because we've all seen how close Miami and DaBaby used to be. Remember that surprise studio session in 2021 that turned into a club appearance that mysteriously ended without footage? People tried to play it off like it was nothing, but now those missing clips are looking a lot more suspicious, and the more you dig, the worse it gets, because according to one anonymous assistant who worked a few events thrown by Diddy, the vibes were always off whenever DaBaby and Miami were in the same building. They'd arrive separately, leave separately, but always disappear for about 45 minutes somewhere in the middle. One time, according to this source, they were gone for so long the DJ had to loop the same track 3 times just to keep the crowd distracted. Now, obviously, no one's naming names yet, but JT didn't need to, because she let the chopper fly and fans did the rest. Screenshots started popping up from old Instagram lives where Miami was acting real giggly anytime DaBaby's name came up. And then you've got that one clip from backstage at Rolling Loud, where someone off camera says, DaBaby's here, and Miami nearly trips over her own heels, trying to adjust her hair. We all thought it was cute at the time, maybe a crush, maybe it's friends, but now it looks like something way deeper and way darker. And JT's latest tweets only added fuel to the fire when she said, y'all better watch who y'all kiss. These mouths be cursed, and diseased fans went into full investigation mode, because it came just days after DaBaby was spotted looking frail at a charity event in Atlanta. Now, sure, celebrities lose weight for roles and detoxes, but this wasn't your average cleanse. According to fan reports, he looked sunken, tired, and completely out of it. And let's not forget, this is the same man who swore up and down on stage that he was clean just a couple years ago during that whole backlash meltdown. And now he's just conveniently avoiding the public and suddenly canceling appearances, especially the ones in Miami. What makes this mess even more suspicious is the fact that Miami hasn't said a word. No denial, no clarification, just random selfies and vague captions like "God got me" and "Mind your business, baby," when the whole world is pointing fingers. Silence speaks volumes, and what makes it all worse is JT's history with Miami. This wasn't some fan fiction gone wild, this was personal because, according to insiders, JT has been holding on to receipts for months, waiting for the right time to air it all out, and baby, she did it with precision and pain behind the keyboard. Reportedly, things went left when JT found out Miami was allegedly trying to set her up for a secret Diddy invite that included none other than Santana and a mystery man. And now we're all wondering, was DaBaby that mystery man? Or worse, was he just one of many, and is JT just the first brave one? To say it out loud, people close to JT say she felt betrayed, used, and disgusted, especially after allegedly discovering texts where Miami was joking about who could pull who into Diddy's quote-unquote inner circle. And the worst part is, some of these texts hinted at health issues being swept under the rug as if it was all just part of the lifestyle. Imagine finding out your so-called friend might have knowingly put you in harm's way, all for a taste of clout and champagne. JT apparently snapped after seeing DaBaby at an event where he reportedly looked drained and paranoid, and when someone whispered that Miami was still linking with him on the low, it was the last straw. If what JT is hinting at is true, then this goes way beyond industry shade. We're talking about lives, careers, reputations, and health, all tangled up in a web of secrets and silence. And while DaBaby has yet to address any of the allegations, his team has been unusually quiet. Sources say they've canceled 3 interviews in 1 week and pulled out of a sponsored appearance last minute, which only added more suspicion to the growing firestorm. And here's the kicker, fans are now pulling receipts from as far back as 2020, where they claimed DaBaby showed signs of illness that were dismissed at the time as exhaustion or partying too hard, but now in hindsight, every cough, every sunken eye, every canceled tour date is being reanalyzed under a completely new and horrifying lens. And while all this unfolds, Miami continues to post as if nothing's happening, smiling in bikinis and quoting Bible verses while the comments burn with accusations and crying emojis. The silence is deafening, and the question on everyone's lips is, did JT just open the floodgates? And if so, who's going to drown first? Because the minute someone comes forward with a name, a test result, or a screenshot, this whole house of cards is going to collapse. And when it does, nobody's walking away clean. Not Miami, not DaBaby, and maybe not even the labels that allegedly knew what was going on and kept it quiet for the sake of appearances, money, and brand deals. And just when you thought the chaos couldn't spiral any deeper, boom, another twist hits the timeline like a runaway train. As DaBaby tried to recover from the bombshell whispers already swirling around him, JT went completely off script. Instead of damage control, she did the unthinkable, doubling down in a live stream that had people choking on their popcorn. Viewers couldn't even blink before JT started unraveling her version of the so-called truth, talking about how she ain't the one to be played with and how everybody gonna get exposed one way or another. She didn't name drop outright at first, but then that smirk slipped, and with that, she dropped a thinly veiled bomb, referencing a clown who got something you can't get rid of. From messing around with someone who likes to pretend she's sweet when she's rotting inside. And baby, that was all the internet needed. The streets of X, Instagram, TikTok, and shady blogs lit up with accusations, side-by-side comparisons, cryptic tweets, and even fake medical documents supposedly showing DaBaby's alleged diagnosis. And the name tied to the rumors, Young Miami. Yes, Carisha, the same one who's always acting bad, giving relationship advice while sipping her Carisha Please cocktails and playing innocent. But now the streets were whispering a different story, one about what really goes down in those bougie parties behind closed doors. How the bubbly flows and the secrets drip out slowly like a leaky faucet no one's fixing. Sources close to Miami, who have remained conveniently unnamed, claimed this wasn't the first time DaBaby and Miami had been secretly linked. One even alleged that their hookups weren't just one-night flings but were long-term, under-the-radar entanglements, complete with expensive gifts, private island retreats, and hush-hush medical emergencies. Allegedly, one such emergency occurred last year in Turks and Caicos when DaBaby was flown out under the radar, supposedly due to dehydration. But now people are connecting dots no one thought to question before. Suddenly, receipts started popping up. Cryptic captions from Miami's old stories. Unexplainable tension between her and JT during interviews. A weird energy during their last Rolling Loud appearance. Internet detectives zoomed in, slowed footage, broke down body language, and even found a tweet from DaBaby months ago where he said, "Some things you don't come back from," followed by a bat emoji. Now fans are saying it wasn't about a food, it was about his health. The comments were vicious. That's why he'd been looking so drained. One follower posted, "Makes sense why he dropped off the radar." Another chimed in. Meanwhile, fake insiders claimed a pharmaceutical company was subpoenaed for records. Of course, no official source confirmed anything, but in the world of viral drama, that's never mattered. What made it worse? JT wasn't backtracking. She retweeted some of the mess. She liked comments saying, "Tell it all, sis." One TikToker even claimed they overheard her in a club saying, "Let the world burn. I got my seat in the front row." Now, whether or not that's true, it didn't matter. The damage was done. And DaBaby? Crickets. He posted a single black square to his Instagram with no caption. Fans weren't sure if it was a silence tactic or a surrender. And young Miami. She was posting cute pictures with captions like "Unbothered Queen" while disabling comments. That move only fueled speculation. People began sharing screenshots of old interviews where she dodged questions about her health. Then came a wave of faked messages and edited voicemails. One clip, clearly manipulated but convincing enough, featured a woman sounding eerily like Miami saying, "I didn't mean to hurt him. I didn't even know." It was quickly debunked, but not before getting millions of views. Even Diddy's name got dragged into the storm, with fans asking if he knew what was going on the whole time. And the whispers turned darker. People started theorizing there was a whole underground circle of celebs covering for each other, making deals, trading silence for clout. Commentators dug up Miami's old tweets about loyalty, about being real to the grave, and now they read like confessions instead of cute one-liners. Others pointed to JT's own, past her jail time, her no-filter attitude, her beef with basically anyone who looked at her sideways, and said she's the only one wild enough to blow the lid off something this toxic. Meanwhile, YouTube conspiracy channels jumped in. One claimed that a leaked clinic form had DaBaby's real name on it and listed an HIV+ status. Another went viral for suggesting Miami had been warned years ago by a former friend who disappeared from the scene after trying to speak out. The thread of mystery just kept unraveling, and fans, stans, and haters were all tangled in it. Some were demanding the truth, others screaming for privacy, but nobody was backing down. And the line between real and fake, it blurred so hard, even celebrities started unfollowing each other. Within days, Miami stopped posting. JT went on a rampage with memes and petty likes. DaBaby's label issued a vague statement about respecting privacy and focusing on health, which only poured gasoline on the fire. And all of this, every explosive twist, came from a few cryptic lines dropped during a live. The drama took on a life of its own. As bloggers, fake insiders, and fan pages turned this into a digital inferno. Even people who had nothing to do with it, like Summer Walker and Saucy Santana, got accused of knowing too much and saying too little. Suspicion was everywhere. Eyes were darting, and JT, she didn't blink. In fact, she seemed to be enjoying it. And just when people thought it couldn't get more chaotic, a private jet manifest was leaked. It listed both DaBaby and young Miami flying into LA just 2 weeks before the story broke. The destination, an exclusive Hollywood Hills retreat owned by a media mogul known for throwing secret celebrity rehab events. Coincidence? Fans didn't think so. They started connecting that flight to Miami's sudden social silence and DaBaby's disappearing. Act from public life. Rumors swirled that someone had tried to convince them to come clean together, but the plan backfired. One viral comment said, "They were supposed to confess, but someone got cold feet." Now look. And just when we thought the madness had peaked, the firestorm kept getting hotter. The blogs exploded when an anonymous nurse claimed she treated DaBaby in a private Miami clinic just weeks before the alleged exposure. According to her, he came in multiple times under a fake name, visibly shaken, sweating, pale, and begging for discretion. She claimed he was more scared than tough, and that whatever results he received that day left him speechless. The wild part, she didn't even know who he was until she saw his photo in the waiting room trash, posing with young Miami from a previous event. That's when the internet went into full detective mode. Screenshots began circulating showing DaBaby and Young. Miami in the same VIP booth at a club in Atlanta, bodies pressed close, drinks flowing, and lips allegedly locked. Witnesses whose identities remain unconfirmed, but whose comments have gone viral, swore they saw the two sneak into a private suite upstairs and emerged an hour later, with DaBaby looking like he saw a ghost. Some claimed he was limping. Now, while that may sound ridiculous, nothing is off limits in this never-ending circus of celebrity scandal. What really drove fans into meltdown mode was JT's explosive Instagram Live. With barely a warning, she stared into the camera, visibly shaking, eyes filled with fury, and just blurted it out. "Y'all keep playing with me like I ain't got screenshots. It's like I won't leak the lab results. Keep messing with me and y'all gone see what DaBaby caught from that so-called hot girl." That sentence alone broke the internet. Live ended mid-sentence, supposedly due to connection issues, but many believe she was silenced or worse, threatened. Some conspiracy theorists even went so far as to suggest a hush campaign funded by industry elites who couldn't risk this level of fallout. Immediately after, Young Miami posted a cryptic tweet, no words, just a broken heart emoji and a location tag for emergency room. That one post led to a frenzy. Was it a confession, a cry for help, or worse, a subtle admittance that the rumors were true? People started analyzing her past interviews, her skincare line ads, even her nail color in photos, trying to connect dots that may or may not exist. Then came the wildest twist yet. A voice note leaked on a gossip page claiming to be DaBaby himself talking to an unnamed friend. His voice, unmistakable, said, "Man, I didn't know. She ain't tell me nothing, bro. I thought she was clean. No, I'm out here dealing with all this mess." The voice cracked. Whether it was staged or real, that audio clip became the final nail in the coffin for fans who were already suspicious. And in true internet fashion, memes exploded. One photo showed DaBaby wearing a hazmat suit with the caption, "Next time he pulling up to the studio." But it didn't stop there. Alleged hospital documents started floating around, heavily redacted but with enough visible to trigger alarm. A patient listed as J. Kirk matched DaBaby's middle name. Diagnosis: HIV confirmed. Treatment initiated. The source of this leak still unknown. The fallout reached boiling point when DaBaby canceled 3 major appearances without notice, 2 music festivals, and a charity basketball game. Organizers claimed personal reasons, but fans knew better. Sponsors quietly pulled out. Fashion collab set to launch was abruptly shelved. Behind the scenes, sources say DaBaby's legal team is scrambling. It's not just for damage control, but for potential lawsuits against anyone trying to publish or repost the medical allegations. Meanwhile, JT has gone completely silent. No tweets, no stories, not even a club appearance in over a week. That's unheard of for her. Insiders say she's being advised by her lawyers to let the storm pass, but others believe she's in talks with a major network for a tell-all interview. One rumored offer, 7 figures, all to spill the tea. The silence from DaBaby's camp speaks volumes. No denial, no press release. Just radio silence, which for the internet is basically a confession. And while some fans continue to defend him, saying this is just another smear campaign, others are diving deep into his old lyrics, past behaviors, and canceled shows as evidence that he's been hiding something for years. And let's not forget Young Miami's sudden disappearing act. Paparazzi haven't spotted her in public since the leak. Her team claims she's taking time off for mental health. But insiders say she's holed up in a private residence with round-the-clock security and media consultants on standby. The rumor. She's trying to figure out how to break her silence without incriminating herself for facing legal heat. Because if it's proven that she knowingly passed anything to DaBaby, the legal consequences could be catastrophic. We're talking potential lawsuits, ruined careers, and federal investigations. And here's where the story takes an even darker turn. An anonymous source close to the City Girls Camp told a gossip blog that this isn't the first time a similar situation has happened. Allegedly, a lesser-known rapper pulled out of a feature with Young Miami months ago, citing health concerns. At the time, everyone assumed it was a money issue. No, they're rethinking everything. The fear now is that if this spirals out of control, it won't just end careers. It could upend an entire section of the hip-hop industry. Brands are nervous. Labels are meeting behind closed doors, and publicists, they're drinking more coffee than ever. Everyone's holding their breath, waiting to see who speaks first. Will DaBaby drop a diss track to flip the narrative? Will Young Miami post a YouTube confession? Or will JT leak the so-called lab results she threatened to expose? One thing's for sure, this saga is far from over. So now that the streets are talking, then the truth is out, at least somebody's version of it. We've got to ask ourselves, where do we even go from here? Is this the final nail in the coffin for DaBaby's already spiraling reputation? Is JT about to face a lawsuit? Or was this all a genius publicity stunt to stay relevant in an industry that feeds off scandal like it's breakfast? And what about Young Miami? Can she ever come back from this kind of exposure? Or will the whispers and screenshots follow her forever? This saga is far from over. And you already know we'll be the first to bring the next jaw-dropping update when the tea spills again. So if you're just as stunned, confused, or entertained as we are, don't just sit there quietly. Drop your thoughts in the comments because we need to hear what you think. Was this truth clout chasing or pure sabotage? And more importantly, who's next on the chopping block? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because in a world where clout is currency, silence is expensive, and over here, we're never broke. Stay locked in. You won't want to miss what's coming next.